Hello there. So I'm just standing on the brow of the hill, and this is the walk that I like to do now and again. It means I don't have to get in the car, I can just step out the house and find myself going in this direction. And I like first of all to share that view with you. And I can feel the wind, the gentle breeze caressing my skin as I'm taking my steps down the hill, noticing these beautiful white roses which to me represent peace, and these beautiful elderflowers which, if added to water with some honey, actually a gallon of water, a pound of honey, and between 8 and 12 blooms, it makes a drink called elderflower champagne. The wild yeast and the flowers ferment the sugars in the honey and turn it into a very, very gentle, mild, sparkling drink. When you bottle it up and leave it for a few weeks, it contains very low levels of alcohol and is really refreshing in this time of the year in June in England. So I'm anticipating what I wish to share with you today, and before I do, I'm going to step over the stile. Now the breeze is becoming a wind, a little bit stronger. Here goes the stile, and a blessing to the nettles, which are one of the best herbs in the world for purifying the blood. I'm noticing the lichen and the moss clinging to that dead tree branch as I step over the stile. And here we are. Just finding my feet on the rough surface, I'll get there in a moment. So the last few days have been amongst the most extraordinary and magical days of my entire life, and I suspect of all my lifetimes. Actually, it might seem like quite a big thing to say, but I feel it so strongly. So my journey has taken me to a place where, having devoted the majority of 2022 to my inner journey and facing up to all the wounding, 2023 has been a continuation of that journey, but facing up much more to how I've wounded others, who I've wounded, when and where, how. And it's been a great journey, been very painful, and very beautiful. And it finally reached the point where I started to write 3 letters to the 3 people that I had felt. First of all, I'd become aware of how I had been hurt by them, and what this year has been about, and especially the last few weeks, is about how I've hurt them. So it's a wounding, how they hurt me, how I hurt them. And this is what I'm beginning to understand as I stop and I'm drawn to the beauty of the wind rustling the leaves in the trees, and this little copse of trees just over here. So what I'm aware of, more now than ever before, and I'm going to go out and share with you my hypothesis. My hypothesis is this: if someone has hurt you, chances are you've hurt them. And I can imagine some of you listening to this will immediately have examples of people that you just know. It's only ever been one way with that person. It's always me that was on the receiving end. And sometimes that's true, if we only look at it from the perspective of one lifetime. If we broaden our perspective beyond that, I can guarantee you that the zero-sum game of the total of all experiences between you and that person in all lifetimes is two ways. It's a two-way street. They've hurt you, you've hurt them, I've hurt them, they've hurt me. So that's my hypothesis. So everyone that has ever hurt me, I have hurt. Which brings us to that beautiful saying, to err is human. When they say to err, that means to hurt, to wound, to make what people call a mistake, what people in some religious circles would call to sin. All those things, peccadillos, so many different words for the same thing. And the idea is this: my hypothesis that everyone that has hurt me, I have hurt them. And if not in this lifetime, then in others. That gives me the pivot point that I was mentioning in my previous film. My pivot point is I now know, because this is the belief system I'm choosing to adopt and to play with. I do want to use the word play. It feels very important to be very playful about all this. So I'm playing playfully with a belief system that everyone I ever hurt me, and everyone that ever hurt me I hurt, in the total picture, in the full picture of all lifetimes. And indeed I do remember, and I'm instructed, and I do mean instructed, to share with you what I'm going to share now. One of the most moving healing works I ever did is for someone, and her wound is that when she was a baby she was sexually abused by a group of people. Satanic sexual abuse, you've heard me speak about it before, I know. So it took her some time to discover this, and she was in a state of constant agony, which I can completely relate to. And in fact, that actually describes how I've been feeling all my life up until yesterday. Sometimes more aware of it, sometimes less aware of it. It's one of the unique gifts of people who've actually experienced satanic sexual abuse. They end up becoming more aware of this existential agony than other people. So this is the deal. She is aware, and she's in a constant state of agony. And I've done work for her before, but I finally do what is the most significant work for her. And what happens to me is I'm simply taken to this place, and I'm able to see that she is part of a group. And what these people are doing is they've been wounding each other over and over again. They've been wounding each other in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. This really has been what's going on for them. And that helps me with my own journey. So what happened to me is I wrote these 3 letters to people in my life who I know that I've hurt and who've hurt me. And this was followed up by visiting one of these people. Excuse me while I struggle with the gate, and there it goes. Wonderful. So I went to visit one of these three that I'd written the letters to, and I read out my letter of apology. And in the letter I detailed examples of events which I knew had come back into my memory and where my choices had hurt the person concerned. And maybe it's significant to say this, but this person has reached a point in their life where they're choosing to live in the present, and they're really not triggered or bothered or upset or affected. They're not having their lives blighted by memories. Maybe that made a difference. So I shared my letter recalling these events, and the letter started off with sharing about the times that I'd hurt this person, and then as I wrote it, it rapidly morphed into moments of great appreciation, love and gratitude and admiration, and again detailing specific events. I feel this is very important. So the letter begins as an apology and acknowledgement of the hurts, and it moves on to acknowledgement and appreciation of the joys. So the letter contains them both. This feels important. So I read out the words. I was listened to, I was acknowledged, and what I feel made a really big difference is the person concerned came up with two other events which I had not put in my letter, and actually acknowledged, particularly in one of these events, how their actions hurt me and how my response to their actions has hurt them. It feels significant to add those details. So that's what I did, and I am so grateful for that opportunity. And I remember leaving their home, and it felt like a milestone. Since then I've come up with a new way of working shamanically, which is an adaptation of the shamanic core processing work which I learnt on my shamanic training back in 2005. And I'll share that in due course. And the first part of that process is the revelation of the names of the people where there's been any wounding, whether I've been giving it, whether I've been receiving it, or whether it's both. Whichever, that's what I've been working with. And the list of names starts off, I only had 4 names on this paper, and I took a bit more time and I ended up with pretty much a page full. And I know I'm not done yet. I know there are more names as I am adding to this list. So I'll share with you in another film what I'm going to do with all these. And so I had a beautifully peaceful day yesterday. I danced wildly. It was complete freedom in a dance church, which is one of the most delicious and delightful experiences in my week. So every opportunity I get, that's what I do. And afterwards my idea to do yoga just vanished, and I just knew I needed to be with myself, just in silence for some time. So that's what I did. So yesterday I devoted myself to being in silence, looking after the plants, feeding myself, doing whatever felt like was the appropriate thing to do in the moment. And this sense of peace gradually unfolded. I now made an agreement with my friend Mary Jane, which I also refer to as the green medicine, and I received the blessings of the green medicine in my experiences yesterday, and I had some other help which I will share about in another film, Information. And it came in two forms. It came in the forms of a book that I was reading, and it came in the form of a TV show I was watching, and it was all contributing. It all made a difference. It was all helping me. Until yesterday evening I realised I was in a state of grace, which is where I am still today, right here, right now. That's not to say that I might not be feeling any pain. I'm feeling a little bit of pain in my right shoulder from an old injury as I'm holding the camera up. That's fine. That doesn't have any impact on my peace and my gratitude and this state of revelation I feel as I'm in. Hearing the cows in the distance, looking at the buttercups in the trees, watching the crow fly past. I feel a profound sense of peace within, and it's what's eluded me my entire life. I've been in a constant state of anguish, and I've either been in acceptance of that or in denial of it, or I've moved to minimize it, or to reduce it, or to fix it, or distract myself from it. And finally, it's gone. And it's gone because I've reached a place of the 0 point, which is the doorway into what people call the New Earth, the 5D. And it's happened because all of the negativity of the past is transmuted by the violet flame that burns brightly around me and within me. I feel inspired. These are the key words of Saint Germain in the Orosoma Tarot deck. Saint Germain is a patron saint of suffering abuse, and specifically sexual abuse and satanic sexual abuse. So I feel great love and gratitude for Saint Germain for reminding me and giving me the gift that all of the negativity of the past is being transmuted by the violet flame that burns brightly around me and within me. I feel inspired. And one of the magical attributes of this is about overcoming the desire to be invisible. Well, as all of you know, I mostly have orange hair, so that's one way to overcome the desire to be invisible. And the other way is to share my stories and my experiences with you, for which I'm so very grateful. So to all those who's watching this film that I have hurt, I am sorry that I have hurt you. And to all those who are watching this film who have hurt me, I'm grateful for all my experiences with you, for this has brought me to the place of peace, which is a place of freedom. And that's really what happened to me in the dance. I simply entered into a state of freedom. It was such a beautiful place to be. So what's happening for me is all my old entanglements between me and all the people I'm in relationships with are dissolving. And from that clean place, what I can do is I can choose to be in relationship with people without those entanglements. And that is my declaration of my intention here and now in the universal now. And this is my final step through the doorway into freedom. So thank you so much for coming with me on these journeys, and all my love to you, all my gratitude, all my appreciation. I love you.